On a similar note, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kindiki has reiterated the government's stand outlawing next week's Azimio protest. Speaking in Tharaka Nithi Sunday, Professor Kindiki said the opposition has been hiding behind the constitution, yet the protests have led to destruction of property. This as Azimio leaders led by DAP Kenya party leader Eugene Wamalwa insist the demonstrations will go on even as they claim there are plans to harm them. As Alan Ochanda reports, the clergy insist the polarized country needs dialogue to address the current situation.
Azimio's hard stance to hold anti-government protests 3 days a week starting next week, according to the government, is nothing but destruction of property and crippling the economy. Speaking in Tharaka Nithi Sunday, Interior CS Professor Kindiki has warned against the planned demonstrations, saying the government won't blink fast, accusing the opposition of hiding behind the constitution while participating in the civil disobedience. Azimio, however, insists and claim they are privy to plans by the government to harm them so as to stop the protests.
Unatutisha ati hata hii wiki mtaendelea na hiyo vitendo. I stand here today to promise all those criminals who are preparing to loot property, to kill people, to burn buildings, to paralyze the economy, to terrorize everybody. I am ready for you. We are ready for you. Not just in Nairobi. In all the 47 counties of the Republic of Kenya, we are ready.
There are threats of us being arrested, threats of some of us being assassinated. And there are meetings that have taken place in different places, including State House. And there are utterances that have been made openly by none other than Dr. Ruto himself, his Minister of Interior, Professor Kindiki, and his Deputy Gachagua, where they have sworn that there will be no more demonstrations in Kenya. Our position as Azimio is that what they are saying is tantamount to suspending the constitution.
Since the advent of the anti-government protests, Kenya Kwanza and Azimio have been trading barbs, the government saying the protests are not in good faith, but out to cause mayhem and destruction, and even call out former President Uhuru Kenyatta, accusing him of bankrolling the demonstrations. Leaders from the two factions escalating the grandstanding, even as the international community voices its concern, calling for a ceasefire.
The UN has said the force being used, including deadly force by the Kenya police, is something that goes against international human rights. It goes against our constitution that gives us that right. So we're expecting that they will listen.
Watu wa Sabatia tumesema hatutaandamana. Semeni hatutaandamana. Sisi tutaunga serikali yetu mkono. Tuunge rais wetu mkono na tunamwambia akae ngumu. Kwa sababu Kenya hii iko mahali pabaya.
The clergy last week implored President William Ruto and Azimio boss Raila Odinga to close ranks through dialogue, and they have reiterated the call.
The country is polarized. We have witnessed several deaths in the past week. We have seen loss of property. We have seen closure of businesses and essentially the economy slowing down. Then we appealed for dialogue, and now we appeal for dialogue.
The two sides have also sharply differed on the proposed bill, seeking to hold responsible in case of losses those calling for protests. Alan Ochanda, KTN News.
We take a short break. When we come back, parents and